Hello, viewers at home, and welcome to another episode of Naija Mouthpiece. We want to believe that you had a good weekend, and it's another episode today where we bring to you the best of the best. And today we have someone in the house that is making me scared of doing the introduction because she's a professional in that aspect. But like you know, we've got your host in the house. I'm just a passerby, and you know I don't pass by all the time, but on this episode I am passing by. Your host in the house, ladies and gentlemen, Philip Ayodike.
Our esteemed viewers at home, we welcome you to this special edition of Naija Mouthpiece. Like we all know, this magazine program is focusing on Nigerians that are doing extraordinary in their chosen career. And today we have an exceptional guest. This guest is a graduate of mass communication from Madonna University in Nigeria. She is a TV presenter who we are all scared to even put on this set because she does this to people like every day. She's a TV presenter, a resounding one at that. She's a staff of one and only Channels Television.
Woo!
She's a producer. She's someone that is big, and at this point I have no option than to announce to you that today we have on set Anne Nwaghodoh. Thank you very much.
Woo! Yes, welcome to Naija Mouthpiece.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Having given a snippet of what you are, your personality, because we can't bear it all. Like when you say to our viewers, by your bio.
All right, so thank you very much again for having me. My name is Anne Nwaghodoh, as you rightly said. I'm from Delta State, but the Igbo part of Delta State. Some would like to tell you the exact place, which is Onichubo, the Anioma North local government area of Delta State. I am the second child, second girl out of 4 girls. I attended Madonna University. I studied mass communication, but as I always say, the journey there was a very funny one, which probably in the course of this, I'll still like to talk about it. I'm just a jolly good fellow, just someone who likes to do the things she loves, and I love to travel, I love to interview people, ask people about themselves, as you said. Of course, I have shows on channels, from foreign shows to the one where I do interview CEOs of organizations, corporate organizations. I also have a lifestyle show for people who watch Metrofile, where we do the parties and all of that. I read the news, main news anchor. So a lot. It's been 9 years. First 4 years started with radio. Then 9 years with Channels TV. So hoping the journey started 13 years ago. Yes.
Developmental service workers, DSWs, are trained to work with individuals living with developmental disabilities in diverse settings such as classrooms, hospitals, group homes, and our communities. DSWs help their clients become independent in completing activities of daily living and community integration. Behavior Price College of Business and Health Studies offers a unique DSW training by introducing the DSW-B, which is the Developmental Service Worker Behavioral. This unique course incorporates a behavior management course in all 4 semesters of the program and equips graduates with the additional skills to develop and implement program plans based on the principles of applied behavior analysis, ABA. Hurry and register now. Call 416-742-5913 or visit www.behaviorpricecollege.ca. Behavior Price College, in pursuit of excellence.
Anne, why mass communication? Why not a lawyer? Why not studying to become a doctor? Why did you choose mass communication?
Well, I don't think I chose mass communication. I think mass communication chose me because I was supposed to be a doctor. I mean, that was what I thought I would be. And then I got into science first because I loved sciences, but I was very average in mathematics, which made in GSS 3, so before you enter SS1, you have a guidance and counseling teacher who tells you and guides you into either arts, science or commercial class. Do you understand? So from my GSS 1 to 3, I loved science. I mean, I was effortlessly doing it well. But eventually, when I wanted to cross into SS1, the guidance and counseling teacher said, oh, you're very average in maths. You never passed 52%. So which means you cannot become a medical doctor. If I had known then that I didn't actually need as much mathematics, I mean, average in mathematics for medical sciences was fine, but maybe he just said, or maybe God was just using him, I don't know, but at that time he just said, oh, just try arts, because if I'm average in maths, of course commercial, I would need a lot of mathematics in commercial class, so which made me move to arts class. And from there, but I was still stealing to go for science classes sometimes, but I continued with arts, and eventually I did literature, all the arts subjects, and then I decided I was going to study law. So after my WAEC, of course, in my house they always tell you we don't write WAEC twice, it's just once, so we all come out in flying colors. And I decided law. So when I got to generally my house, everybody uses the University of Ibadan for when it gets to university level. But there's something my dad always does. At a time in our lives, you have to go to a private university. It was just his own style of making sure you are in that segment, that category of people. So for some, it was Loyola Jesuit College, Abuja. If you know the school there, you know the kind of people that attended that school. So when it was my turn, he said my own private school was going to be Madonna University. So I was like, no, I can't go to Madonna. I want to go to UI because that's where I thought I was going to. So in all our back and forth, he was like, no, I want you to go to Madonna. Eventually, I lost my dad.
Wow.
So my mom kind of used it as a blackmail that, your dad wanted you to go to Madonna, so you have to attend there. I said, okay. So I got to Madonna. I was like, then I cannot do 5 years here because I just want a simple course I'll just do and just leave, because I mean private university. I was like, eventually I asked somebody who was just walking across, like, what other course can I do that's like law? Do you understand? He just said, why not put in mass comm? That was how I put in mass communication. The first year I was just playing. I was like, let me just do and leave Vabig. But eventually second year I started noticing I was doing it effortlessly. Everything was coming to me naturally. And then the rest, they say, is history. I eventually graduated with a 2-1, and from there, I mean, I've had other certifications after that, a whole lot of them, and that's my story for that.
So, if you're given the opportunity to choose career again, would you want to choose broadcasting or you want to think about something else?
I will choose communication again because I think it was what I was destined to do from the very beginning, because some years back my primary school colleague actually called me and said, Anne, do you remember in school as primary 2, 3, 4, 5, I was a newscaster in school. And I'm like, when? I totally forgot that part of my life. I never remembered. So I remember at the assembly ground, I used to read the news. I used to cast the news for them Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I said, wow, really? I now remembered that all that happened at the very little stage of my life. And then growing up, I mean, I used to watch TV a lot with my dad and all that, watching the news. But mine was just concentrating on their outfits because I like fashion. So I was just always concentrating on how they present and all that. So I think it had always been there, but maybe I just didn't look at that part. That was why I concentrated on being a medical doctor. Yes, maybe sometime in the future I would still add some little medicine because I still read a lot of health stuff. I still love to know a lot of things about medicine even till this very day. So
now, you've been doing exceptionally well in your chosen career now, because we're talking about you being a communicator now, not aspiring to become a doctor.
chosen my path.
Yeah, you've chosen your path. Yeah. So you've been doing exceptionally well. So who are the people you look up to? When you want to be outstanding in your career, you try as much as possible to get a mentor that you understudy. Who are the people you understudy that has taken you this far?
So I watched, when I was little, I watched lots of NTA. Because my dad would know you can't watch anything else when it's 9 o'clock and all that. So I used to love Eugenia Abu because of her sense of style. And
I see little of her.
Yes, so
I see little of her personality
yes,
in you, and
so
that is what
I think that was what that was the person I watched all through. I watched Eugenia Abu a lot. So eventually the day I got to meet her in Abuja, I was like, oh. And I watched Ruth Benamesia too, but Eugenia Abu was my go-to, and if I was going to toe that path, it was Eugenia Abu I watched.
That is locally.
Internationally, of course. It's our very own Amampur. The way she takes, the way she does her job with so much passion and wants to know more about whatever it is she's doing. Just that drive.
Okay, I'm going to ask about how you were able to transition from being, because I see the school part as more like the amateur level, and now finishing school. The first question is, was Shanes your first was Shanes the first job you got, like the first broadcasting job? If no, I also want you to tell us about getting to Shanes. And Shanes is an exceptional television station that expects nothing less than
standard
professionalism. Like, you can be broadcasting and you are not scared that something is going to fall on your head. Okay, so like, what was your first day of broadcasting, especially the news, when you know that it is not only being watched locally, it's everywhere? What was it like?
Channels was not my first. I had done radio for 4 years. I worked with Splash FM 105.5 in Ibadan. It was at Felele, Ibadan, owned by Adebayo Akonde and Mrs. Onikepwa Akonde. So I started with radio, did 4 years. After my NYSC, I served with the National Broadcasting Commission at NYSC in Osun State. But my director then, Mrs. Bomiko, really loved my work as little as I was then in NBC. NBC is like a watchdog for broadcast stations. So I did very well as a core member. I was the only one that was picked as a core member in the whole of Osun State to work with NBC. So it was just lucky. I was just fortunate. So she liked my job well. And then when I finished, I just went to say hi in Abuja. She was like, Anne, I think you should start with radio. It would be very good for you, I just wanted to rest. I just wanted to say, give me 1 year. Let me just rest a little before I start anything. And then I went to Felele that date to submit my CV with the broadcast station there, Splash FM. Eventually, they told me to read. I had never read the news. We all know that whatever we study in school is just theory. It's not practical. So we've never done anything practical, even though it's mass communication. So I submitted the CV. Then I had to do audition. First time of reading something like news. 2 days later, I was called that I should start. I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm a greenhorn. I don't know what this is about. I just know the theory parts, which is totally different from the practical part. So I was called. I started in just a few months. I became the major news reader. I had 5 big programs on radio. Yes, I did very well. I think I did in 4 years. I did extremely well. And then I started thinking, okay, maybe it's time to move, because people always tell me, this voice issue, this face needs to be on TV and all that. But I never thought channels, really. That's the truth. I never thought about channels. I was like, when it's time to move, I'm sure something will prompt me to, or something will happen. Eventually, for the first time ever, Channels brought out a vacancy, and since then nothing like that has ever happened. So, and the vacancy was actually for a new office in Benin City, but somehow I got to Benin. It was not even a newscaster job. It was just reporters and cameramen for the station. But I was like, I can't do reporting because that's below me, because I've been a major newsreader from where I'm coming from. So I just wrote newscaster. And I remember that day, the fellow job seekers were laughing at me like, they're not asking you for a newscaster. What they want is a reporter and a cameraman. You're not a reporter, you're not a cameraman, so what? I said, well, if they reject it, they reject it. But I flew to Benin to get this done, and eventually Channels was very interested in that. Because they had said people from TV stations should send a reel of their work. But I didn't work in a TV station before then. I had worked in, so someone just recorded me reading the news, sent it to Channels. And that was how Channels got interested and took me, and even said I wasn't going to go to Benin, I was going to stay in Lagos. So that was how the story started. And
so your first day?
My first day, people were making me so afraid. They were like, you have to do it perfectly, because if you don't do it perfectly, that's how you might not go on air again after. But I was like, well, it's either it happens, it comes out well, or it doesn't come out well. I don't panic when it comes to things. I'm confident, and I know that at least I've done well for myself for 4 years. The difference is just radio and TV. So I went on air, and I had never used a teleprompter before then. So Channels was the first place I used the teleprompter. And the first day, I just read. I remember I read with Chamberlain, so my colleague. And people were watching me from the master control room. And when I eventually came out, they're like, are you sure you've not done TV before this girl? Because it was smooth. And from there, we sailed.
You said something about learning through the process only theoretically, and the practical part of it is nowhere to be found. What would you want to say to our administrator? Because here in the Western world, as you're in school, you're going through the theoretical part of your studies, you're going through the what is it called, the practical. So what would you want to say to our administrators back home, especially when it has to do with people that are learning in school? I think we need more to be done to get our students in the mood.
Yes, so I think also that a lot should be added to the curriculum. I think the curriculum is too static. It just makes it look like we're just learning the theory, which is not the practical thing when you come into the real world. I think the curriculum should be added. That's why my dad liked to send some of us to Loyola Jesuit College, because what they teach them, apart from the theory parts, they teach you skills even from there. They teach you, in case of an accident, how to use your left hand. They teach you things that you would ordinarily not see in normal schools. So I think governments shouldn't leave all that to private sectors who actually go the extra mile to teach skills and things that you should make a student know that if I come out without a job, what other thing can I do with my hand?
Exactly.
What other thing can I do practically, and not wait for a white collar job? Let people be comfortable knowing that a blue collar job is fine. It's extremely fine. If you can employ other people under you, then you are even doing way better than someone with a white collar job. So adding other practical stuff to curriculum, making sure to going the extra mile to just ensure that people don't just focus on theory, and then when they come out to the real world, they see that whatever they even studied wasn't even relevant at the end of the day. So I think the Nigerian government, the private sector, the public sector, stakeholders in the education sector should actually sit down and say, what do we need in this country?
Okay, I'll quickly want to ask now, what is the biggest challenge that you've experienced while broadcasting? There been at any point that maybe probably you're missing a word, the pronunciation? Because I get to watch you and I see how most time it's flowing, it's smooth. Is there? Did you ever have such challenge?
Yes. This is very embarrassing, but but when I started, I had never seen the word exacerbate before, and the first time I ever read on radio, I was like, what is this word? What is this word? You know, when you already, if you know how to use it, I mean, it was radio, so it was script. But I had seen the word before I got there. I was like, what is this word? But I didn't get it. So I said exakabe or something like that. Very funny. So when I went back, that thing blew up because my boss called me like, Anne, why did you use this word? So it was really embarrassing, and I'll never forget that. But I mean, it's fine to make mistakes.
So it never happened on TV?
No. It has never happened on TV.
With TV, you have a teleprompter.
We have a teleprompter.
So, and you're prepared. You're more prepared.
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about knowing that there's no word that after 4 years on radio, there's almost no word I would not be able to pronounce, except their names. But before you go on air and you have a very difficult name, then you should have been able to, as a professional, find the pronunciation of that name. In a case where you're not very sure, you skip it and say whatever is before the name, like the governor of blah blah blah, and you skip it. But on the second bulletin or on the next one you have to read, then you have to find out what it is. So I don't think there's been any really challenging moments for me on TV.
So, Anne, before we came on this set, I have personally looked you up, and aside that fact, I have been an ardent follower of you on social media and everywhere. So I see that you are more like a fashion icon, aside the fact that you are a TV presenter, a producer, and all of that. So how were you able to get into the mood? Because I must be honest with you, even on news bulletins, on newspapers and everywhere, you're everywhere.
Okay, so this fashionista lifestyle started from when I was very little. I used to sketch my own outfits because we all draw in my house. I think we got that gift from my dad. We all draw, we all sketch our own. So growing up, we had all our own books of sketches of outfits, and if I was a woman, if I was to put myself in this kind of outfit, what will I wear in my head? So I sketch, and I still sketch till today. So when I need a style to sew with my fashion designer, I just sketch, this is how I want it, this is how I want it. So I think that started from very little. And as I said, I used to watch NTA to just see how they dressed, like Junior Abu, how very lovely they dressed. And from there, I was always putting things together myself, even for my sisters. I knew how to tie the gele, I knew how to do makeup. I just learned all that from very little, and it has grown with me. I put my own pieces together, I help people to do that, and I am hopeful very soon I will really go into it deeply. Yes, I will, because I have to.
Yes, that might be your side hustle, aside broadcasting, right?
Yeah, it's still my side. I have other side hustle, which is also media related, other media sort of consultancy and all that. But yes, I could get busy. I have someone having a birthday in July that has already said, "Oh, Anne, you're dressing me up," so I will do that. So yeah, you can call it a little side hustle.
I know there's a lot of money in fashion. So tomorrow we might just see breaking news. Anne Nwaghodoh moved from broadcasting to fashion. So do we see that coming at any point?
Oh well, maybe communication might still be what I will keep doing. So every other thing can come in with communication. In
another 3-5 years from now, are we seeing you right on CNN or BBC?
Amen. Of course, that's what we all hope. When I was on radio, I was hoping TV someday. Now I'm on the best TV station in Africa on channels. Of course, of course, yes, we are. Channels is so. Definitely. Moving up will only be... Arguably. Oh well, but we're still the best.
I give it to channels.
Yes.
I give it to channels.
So definitely, it can only go up from here. It will have to be up, never down. So
what's your advice for the young people out there that wants to come into this broadcasting world? What do you have to tell them?
Okay, so for the young ones, because I see a lot of pressure on social media, everywhere, pressure coming from parents and friends on how to live life, or what to be, or how to, when you want to say, oh, I have to be like this person, I have to be like this, I have to gain whatever. I mean, don't put pressure on yourself. First of all, if you're coming into broadcasting, you have to be sure that you're natural. So I see some people I know in broadcasting world struggle over the years because it's not inborn. So broadcasting has to be very natural. Like, I remember when I was in school, there was a lady that had the the Igbo intonation problem where R is replaced with L and L is replaced with, and she wanted to become a broadcaster, a newscaster in a TV station, English newscaster. So I told her, I said, yes, you can aim to become that, but first of all, you have to be sure you remove this thing from your tongue. I mentor a lot of people. I have so many people, male, female, that I have mentored over the years. Some I have been able to remove the H factor for those who have the Yoruba, yeah. And I mean, it works. It does. If you put in the work, it will work. So after you have done that, then you can now, but don't live in denial that this is the problem or challenge you have. Because broadcasting has to come to you naturally. You have to think on your feet. You have to be very intelligent to be on TV. I mean, you don't want to embarrass yourself in the whole, and you don't want to struggle in this industry. You cannot struggle. It's not something, because it's a mental job.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a mental job.
It's a stammer back then, and then
yes, you cannot. You cannot. You have to. That barrier cannot be there because you keep struggling all your life throughout the journey.
So you just need to be smooth.
The truth is that no, smoothness would eventually come, but at least the basic knowledge, the basic inbuilt that gift. Like, you can always tell a natural from someone who is an unnatural broadcaster or someone who is trying to still learn it. I will always tell people I haven't even done any formal training in broadcasting. Every other thing I've done is maybe in management and other things, but in broadcasting I have never done anything, training or whatever in broadcasting. That's because it comes to me naturally, and I try to upgrade myself in my own little way from learning from other people and all that. So I'd always tell people, don't put pressure on yourself. Do what you will enjoy doing. When you look in the next 10 years, would you still be comfortable doing this thing? That's it for young ones.
We're going to be going on a short break and we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back, viewers at home. We want to believe that you've been having a great time with Anne, and we still have Anne very much here in the house. Before we let you go, Anne, we still have some very few questions for you, and the first question now, it's what do you do for fun?
Fun. I love to have fun. I mean, anyone watching this will know. If they know Anne, they'll say, Anne is a groove girl. She's a YOLO kind of person. You only live once. I love to travel. It just helps me, eases me off from all the stress and all that. So anytime I feel like my head is full, I need to just, release, I just travel. I travel, party, I mean, of course, nice parties. I love to swim. I love to just hang out with friends. I have, my sisters are my best friends and my mom, so just visit them. I mean, things that make me happy. That's how but I mean, travel is number one always.
Nice. So apart from traveling, you're good with swimming. I'm a good swimmer too. Yeah, I swim in my dream a lot.
And of course, I love to mentor people. It just gives me, when I can add value to someone, it just helps me, gives me that sense of, okay, I've done this and I'm happy, and watch you on air, and I know I was the one who helped you go through this journey. That is even fun on its own on itself.
What will you not be caught doing?
What will I not be caught doing? I will never be caught living a fake life. Nah. I love, and that's why I cut off people that are unreal. a lot of people like to be my friend, but sometimes when I realize you're not real, like you're not, I hate fake people.
So you don't want to fake it.
I have never faked it in my life.
But they said fake it until you make it.
Those are the people, but eventually when they make it, they're still empty. So I will never fake it, and you will never catch me faking anything. I'm as real as it can be. Like everybody will always say, oh, that's why I think that's why some of these mentees come to me, because even in organizations, they just say, oh, it's Auntie Anne we're going to, because she's the realest, she's the most humble, and all that. I mean, there's nothing in this life, so why do people make it look like, oh, they have to carry shoulders up and all that? So me, I'm just real. You can't catch me being fake. That's it.
About the independence of broadcasting in Nigeria, how are you guys caught up with? Sometimes when you're being held to the jugular, you're not allowed to say things the way they are. How do you guys walk around it to still say what the masses want to hear?
So sometimes I think it's still going on in developing countries where, because I'm sure it's not only in Nigeria, this is going on when you're judging or you have to talk bad about, not talk bad, criticize a government or a big organization, and then you're like, people tell you, your bosses tell you, oh no, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't say this. I think in Nigeria, if you are saying you're practicing democracy, then allow people do their job. We see America, we see how the media was with Trump. Did anything happen to anybody? No. They were still able to do their jobs well. So I think Nigeria should get to that level where you will give, I mean, sometimes the NBC says, oh, this, you can't do this, you can't do this. But when you look at the code, it's really not what is in the code. We have some kind of power as media, as an organization people look up to give them the truth. I think Nigeria, we need to get to that level where the government and people involved in all of this bullying have to stop and allow us to do our jobs. And until we get there, we cannot say we are truly practicing democracy.
So democracy is about the ability to really express things the way you
freedom of speech and expression.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and it's been nice having you on set today.
Developmental service workers, DSWs, are trained to work with individuals living with developmental disabilities in diverse settings such as classrooms, hospitals, group homes, and our communities. DSWs help their clients become independent in completing activities of daily living and community integration. Behavior Price College of Business and Health Studies offers a unique DSW training by introducing the DSW-B, which is the Developmental Service Worker Behavioral. This unique course incorporates a behavior management course in all 4 semesters of the program and equips graduates with the additional skills to develop and implement program plans based on the principles of Applied Behavior Analysis, ABA. Hurry and register now. Call 416-742-5913 or visit www.behaviorpricecollege.ca. Behavior Price College, in pursuit of excellence.
So, and we are so, we're overwhelmed with all that you've said today. But before we let you go, what will be your parting speech for our esteemed viewers out there?
So my final or my parting speech, as you say, is please be you, be real. It pays to be real. I mean, you'll feel more comfortable being yourself. Whatever it is you are not comfortable in, any space you are, whether it's work, whether it's relationship, whether it's whatever it is, whatever you find yourself doing, just make sure you are comfortable doing it. Once the discomfort comes or it impedes on your sanity, please just move on. That's what I'd like to tell people. And please take care of yourself. Learn to take care of yourself. A lot of people forget themselves and just do every other thing about life. Forgetting your health is important. Your sanity is important. Making yourself your priority is very important. And just be happy. I mean, it helps to be happy. So, and to Naija Mouthpiece, you guys are doing amazingly well. Well done for all you do, for bringing people on here to talk about their experiences and help inspire other people. And I'm sure a lot of people get inspired by what you do. So well done. So guys, please continue watching Naija Mouthpiece on YouTube. They have interesting and amazing stuff that you'd never want to miss. And you can always go back to rewatch it as many times as you want. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate your presence. And to our esteemed viewer at home, we know you must have enjoyed your time with Anne today. And we look forward to having you on another episode of Naija Mouthpiece. Thank you very much. Peace.